I'm Lexi, your local light worker, and I'm really happy to be here with you today. You guys actually DM'd me and messaged me that you'd like to see a video on the south and the north nodes of the moon. So I'm gonna try to pack as much as I know about these two placements in the birth chart, and hopefully this video is going to serve you. I hope you will use it well. So we'll look at some examples. I'll try to explain the spiritual meaning of the two nodes and also where can you find them in the birth chart. Okay, I'll show you a very quick technique to identify one if you don't know the other one. So the south and the north node of the moon are not asteroids or planets. They don't really have a physical body in the sky. So basically what they are two imaginary points on the moon's ecliptic. Whenever the moon kind of transits around the earth, it touches the south and the north node, which are these imaginary points on its elliptic, which is basically the movement of the moon around the earth. So think about it in this way. If the earth has a north and a south pole, the moon kind of has that as well, but it's not a geographical space. It's more like a movement place, if that makes sense. Okay, the north and the south node of the moon are significant because for centuries they have represented a person's past life and a person's current destiny. So the north node is our current destiny, our point of growth, while the south node is what we bring with us from a past life, everything that we managed to amass. And to a certain extent, because this is something that we drag along with us from a past life, it is our karma, okay? So south node energy is past life energy, what we already are, so we don't need to work at that in this lifetime. It is our karma, it is our self, it is what we remember on an unconscious level, but also sometimes on a conscious level. The north node is our growth zone. It's a bit uncomfortable to tackle. It requires your conscious awareness. You need to be able to identify what your destiny is and then to say, yes, I'm willing to take it on. It is your dharma. It is that thing that kind of scares you, but you feel it in your heart. This is what I'm meant to do, so I'm gonna follow it. It's not really that amazing in terms of the energy because some people tend to associate it with a negative aspect, with obsession, with the ego, and with the head of a dragon. You will You will sometimes find when you look at information online that the north and the south node are represented by the image of a dragon. And you might be thinking, what does a dragon have to do with my past life and my current destiny? Well, the dragon is just a symbol. It is usually the sign of the Ouroboros, which is the cosmic dragon that is eating its tail. This is a its tail. This is a symbol that is found in Greek and Egyptian mythology, and it basically represents the cycle of life and death. A dragon that eats its own tail, it's self-perpetuating. Astrologers and people way more wise before us decided on this idea to give the north node the head of the dragon, so the symbolic meaning of the head of the dragon, and give the south node the correspondent tail of the dragon. This basically means that because our north node is the head of this dragon, you always want to eat, you always want to find out more things about your destiny. You're kind of sometimes driven to go into a direction that might feel scary and uncomfortable, but something within you, your intuition, your gut, that little voice in your head is telling you, go towards that. That is what you need to do in this lifetime. So that is the purpose of the head of the dragon. It wants to eat, it wants to proceed forward, it initiates. While the tail of the dragon is known as the place where we poop. So where we excrete. It is the tail, right? So it is the end of the digestive tract. This is what we mastered in all of those previous lifetimes that we had. And it's something that the more we try to put effort into that area of our lives, nothing is going to flourish. So the more you stay in your comfort zone and the more you attach to what you already know, to the circumstances that you have in your life, in your childhood, the less you are going to progress in your lifetime and the less you're going to genuinely follow your destiny and thereby go into the energy of the North Node. So you need to make the conscious decision in this lifetime, by knowing the position of your North Node and your South Node, to let go of the poop and the emotional baggage and the karmic people that you will meet in this incarnation in the first part of your life. You need to let go of them. And you need to walk down the path of your destiny. Decide to become the head of the dragon. Decide to push forward in spite of the fear and in spite of the obstacles and limitations. Walk bravely down the direction of your destiny and fulfill your dharma. Okay? The cutoff point of this karma and dharma process is the Saturn return. Saturn is this karmic influence that steps in and very boldly says, well, up until the age of 30, you lived in your comfort zone. Let's pull that net of security and see if you can genuinely get into that North Node energy. This is a foundational period because what Saturn drills into you between the ages of 28 and 30, that period of extreme pressure where you have to make a lot of quick adult choices, is going to solidify, I'm pulling my hair, is going to solidify when you will reach the age of 33. 33 is the moment when your North Node ripens. There is something very bizarre that is happening with the energy, but it seems as if 33, which is the grand master number of the communicator, almost as if you're downloading insights from spirit, or spirit begins to communicate with you, nudging you in the direction of your destiny. If you resist these forces, you will bring a lot of anxiety, a lot of panic attacks. You will feel as if you're stuck. You might tend to overeat, indulge in all sorts of toxic behavior. But if you bravely say, okay, this doesn't make me feel comfortable, I might upset a couple of people, I might need to cut some karmic ties, but I feel it in my heart that I need to follow my North Node, then you will flourish beyond your means. Now, some of us have some really good planets in our North Node. Some of us have North Node conjunct Venus. We learn about pleasure in this lifetime. Some of us have in this lifetime. Some of us have North Node conjunct Jupiter. We learn about spirituality, about growth, learning how to give to others and be more generous. But others of us have North Nodes in really tough associations. So for example, when you have a North Node conjunct Saturn or in Capricorn, then that means that your destiny is to establish really good boundaries and to say no left and right and to get into that boss-like energy. Or if you have North energy, or if you have North Node conjunct Pluto, your destiny is going to be peppered with life and death situations, intense emotional experiences, rising up and having a lot of ego deaths and phoenix moments. But it's really the moon. Let's take an example right now because maybe this will put things better into perspective. So here is the chart of Timothee Chalamet, an American actor. Look at his chart. Can you identify what are his North Node and South Nodes? It's a little bit tricky because on his birth chart, you only get to see his north node. But if you keep in mind that the north and the south node are opposites, exact opposites, 180 degrees from each other, this means that north node in Aries, you will automatically have a south node in Libra. So you need to know and become very familiar with how the signs are opposite from each other. Virgo is opposite from Pisces, Gemini is opposite from Sagittarius, Cancer is opposite from Capricorn, Taurus is opposite from Scorpio, Leo is opposite from Aquarius, and Libra is opposite from Aries. I think I got them all, right? Comment down below if I didn't. So once you get a grasp on these oppositions, once you understand that if you see in a birth chart only the north node, you can quickly understand that the south node is at the exact degree in an opposite sign from the north node. And then all you need to do is have a look at the house. So I'll show you his chart again. There we go. That's the correct answer. He is a north node in Libra in the second house. And the thing is that this makes his south node automatically in Aries, because Aries is the opposite of Libra. The second house is the opposite of the 8th house, and you can see it clearly represented in his chart. Basically means that what he needs to learn in this lifetime is how to let go of being the first, being ultra charismatic. He needs to learn to cooperate with other people in order to earn his independent income. The second house is the house of Taurus usually. It is the house of money, possessions, and owning your own independent income, the one that you earn through your hard work and your labor. The 8th house is the house of shared finances, money that you inherit, money that you have from your parents, money that you always need to split or somehow put into accounts that are merged. So it's kind of like you have a diffused sense of your assets and your earnings. He is also very attractive, so very sexually powerful. The 8th house deals with sexuality, and he has Mars there, so masculinity. And masculinity. And he actually was made famous by playing in a movie called Call Me By Your Name, where he was in love with another man. So sexuality and romantic feelings and intimacy directed towards a male figure. 8th house Mars, south node. That's where he feels most comfortable. So this basically means that his destiny is to collaborate with other people, to communicate very clearly, to indulge in pleasure in art and culture, Libra, in order to earn an independent income for himself and to acquire wealth on his own terms. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope I've given you a clue as to how you can identify the opposite node when it doesn't appear on a chart. If you go on astrodeans.com, which is the site I always recommend, to me it is the most thorough, the most informative, and it has all the tools that you need to create excellent birth charts and excellent readings. You can actually scroll down on the extended chart reading and look down below. It says show descendant node or true node. If you click those two options, the north node automatically appears. The south node is already embedded in the birth chart as you created. Or if you don't want to click on those two things, then you can use the technique that I've just taught you. If you have the south node on an AstroDeans chart of a person, you can immediately think, oh, okay, so it must be, if the south node is 23 degrees Leo in the 7th house, then the north node must be 23 degrees Aquarius in the 1st house. Yeah? The opposites. Opposite house, opposite sun sign, same degree. Does that make sense? I really hope this helps, guys. If you have the Moonology deck, you can generally deepen your understanding of the north and the south node by looking at the booklet. So it has this really lovely booklet, and we have here the cards, north node, and we have here as well south node. Don't let the past hold you back. You can clearly see the glyph, which is the symbol of each element. you can see the representation and also the affirmation about what is the energy of these two nodal points of the moon. So according to the Moonology booklet, there's a strong feeling when you get this card that it's time to leave the past behind somehow, because you are headed in the right direction. If you want to be happy and fulfilled, you need to get going towards doing the thing that scares you within reason. This card is all about living your life purpose, which is possibly what you've asked about. It's urging you to dare to do something different with your life and your direction, to take action. So are you willing to follow through and lead the life you incarnated to live? If you finally find the courage to make the leap, there's a good chance you'll come to ask yourself, why did I wait so long? The north node is where the moon crosses the ecliptic going north. It is a karmic point, and on the horoscope chart shows us what we need to do and where we need to go with our life to find satisfaction, fulfillment, and happiness. The north node is the karmic astrological point that reminds us, to paraphrase André Gide, that in order to discover new oceans, we have to be prepared to lose sight of the shore. So with this north node lunar energy, the affirmation you can tell yourself is, I know I'm headed in the right direction now. It's really important to activate the energy of your north node by considering, how are you heading for something which feels like destiny? Are you facing a fear, and can you get over it? I think it's time to stop obsessing about someone or something and just do something that replenishes you. You can stand on your own 2 feet. You've got this. Also in the Moonology booklet, the south node, like the north node, is a karmic point, but it's opposite to the north node and relates to the past, perhaps even to past lives. Whatever you're going through and whatever you're asking about, there's a chance that age-old programming and conditioning is stopping you from achieving all that you might. Do you feel stuck in something? This card would often come up as a sign that the situation or relationship you're asking about has somehow become suffocating, even toxic. It suggests that someone, you even, needs to be released, that there's some kind of addiction going on or an unhealthy attachment that needs to be sorted out. One thing is for sure, when you get this card, you're being challenged to make some changes, even if staying where you are feels easier and safer. The south node is where the moon crosses the ecliptic going south. On the horoscope chart, it shows us what we are likely to become obsessed with, but which will probably do us little or no good. The south node is the karmic astrological point that reminds us of the well-known phrase, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. In order to attune to the energy of this point, you can say the following affirmation, I release the past now. When this card shows up, it's important to consider whether a relationship is karmic and has played out across many lifetimes. And consider as well whether your attraction to someone may be verging on the obsessive. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. Important to keep in mind, I'm actually making this video from my Western astrologer's perspective. In Vedic astrology, they have a completely different way of understanding the points. To some extent, I do find it slightly negative to consider that the north node is Rahu and therefore a kind of malefic energy, and the south node is Ketu and therefore a kind of more comfortable, positive energy. That's all I had for you, Astro Pups. I hope you have enjoyed this video. It was a pleasure for me to film it. If you are curious and would like to know the position of your south node and north node in your own chart, and you would like to hear a more extensive interpretation, feel free to get in touch with me. I provide astrological services on my website, and even though I do give you a general birth chart, I do like to spend, especially the last 2 pages of your birth chart, focusing on what you bring from a past life and what is your destiny in this lifetime. So this is a special feature that I include in my general astrological birth charts, which you can find on my blog under the Healing Services tab. I love you. Bye. Mwah.